Hello, what have we here?
Welcome to IDP Nation, the place for IDP and draft coverage. We are your hosts, Dan and Darrell. We have you covered from your LB1 year taxi squad. We are IDP Nation. Welcome back. We survived week 4. Well, at least most of our team did. We're a little bit with trying to stay healthy, I guess. But we are right off the bat here by CEO of StatementGames.com, Mark Colino. Mark, how you doing?
Doing all right, guys. Thanks for having me. Hope everyone's doing okay.
Yeah, we're doing good. Hollywood's football team isn't. No, they're hoping for back-to-back positive or negative tests.
Yeah, I think we're in the clear. So hopefully tomorrow we get to return to practice. So
yeah, we'll see. Wait, almost ruin our football season there, Titans.
Well, the football season's something you obviously look forward to, for a long time here. But now that I'm kind of, a diehard Giant fan, I'm actually looking forward to everything kind of ending. So I guess,
yeah,
depending on how you look at things, it's.
Yeah, some people are wishing for, maybe just, I think the Jets are in that same bag where they're just like, you know what, can we just cancel the season? I think I saw some video. Somebody on Twitter, she kind of dresses up with the different teams. She has different T-shirts on, and she's going through. And the Jets are kind of like, should we just not play the rest of the season because we're terrible? I think the Texans said the same thing.
So.
But yeah, Bob, your buddy was fired, Darrell. What are you going to do?
It's a sad day.
The Texans might actually make some good management decisions.
Well, they might. I'm just hoping that he's done enough damage that it will take them forever to recover. No draft pick, no receiver.
It's going to take a couple of years, definitely, because they don't have any first or second round picks in 2021. They're the Dolphins ownership.
Yeah, hopefully by the time they get the pieces and stuff in to get it fixed, Deshaun Watson's washed up and gone. So.
It's pretty kind of amazing, right? I mean, they literally just gave him the keys to the house to run everything, and then you're not even going into week number 5 and he's gone. So that's a pretty big dramatic change in events from not only just like a week ago. I mean, it's
I think
draft, coach, GM, making trades, getting rid of the big wide receiver, and
I think
he pissed somebody off and he's gone.
I think trading Hopkins was the last straw. They just couldn't fire him in the offseason. I don't know. But they were going to get the GM from New England, but they got their hand caught in the cookie jar. They got those tampering charges brought up against them for trying to pull the GM away from the Patriots. And now the rumor I've heard is that McDaniels and that GM from the Patriots are on the top of their list as far as who they want to interview, at least, to bring in.
Do you think McDaniels leaves New England?
I don't know. Deshaun Watson be a nice little toy to have for an offensive coordinator, head coach. I mean, McDaniels might want to give it another shot. I mean,
yeah, he might.
I don't know. He might be happy being the heir apparent in New England, but then again, Bill Belichick is like, what's his name? Emperor Palpatine, who might never die and never leave. So you never know. I mean, the Giants at least won't be looking for a coach for a couple of years. I think Joe Judge will be around.
Yeah, I think for better or for worse here, it's something in where you're gonna have to probably give him a couple of years. But
Yeah.
After coming off the list, I mean, I just know nothing about Judge, even after 4 weeks, and with all the craziness that's actually going on with COVID and things like that here, it's really hard to get a read on what guys can coach and what guys can't. I mean, he was never a coordinator in the NFL. He never had a prestigious coaching collegiate position here. So I think as Giant fans, we're all upset because it's been more than 1 year now of just basically, uncompetitive football. Although they've been pretty competitive in, I'd say, 3 of the 4 losses they've had so far this year.
Yeah.
But in terms of the quarterback and the coach, jury's still out. It just stinks losing. I've had enough of it. It'd be nice to kind of win some of these games and actually be able to watch football post Halloween.
Well, the good news is the NFC East is so god awful that they could still win the division at starting 0-4.
How about winning a game? Let's start by winning a game, and then we'll start taking a look at division and Super Bowl aspirations.
Yeah,
well, it's funny you say that. I saw a graphic that right now the Eagles are 1, 2, and 1,
and leading the division.
They'd be a playoff
there
team
you
right
go.
now. So
they're a powerhouse.
Yeah.
They're a powerhouse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if
Climbing
anybody
those power charts,
There you go.
if anybody can make a quarterback look good, it seems like the Dallas Cowboy defense can make a quarterback look good. So,
all right, that should be a pretty interesting matchup. The Giants and the Cowboys. The Giants can't score, and the Cowboys can score here, but they give up all these points here. So something's going to have to give in this battle of the Titans, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm in this World War League, and Darrell's in a different iteration of this league. And I'm the New York Giants, so we had to pick players from the Giants as in our initial bundle. So I have Jones, I had Barkley, of course, and he's on IR right now. And I had I picked Slayton out of the rest of the offensive guys, and I'm hoping he can. He was cheaper than the other guys, and I thought he would be a good pick. And then I have Blake Martinez on the other side of the ball. He's been as advertised, though. I mean, he's been racking up the tackles.
Well,
and Peppers got hurt, so I mean they were banged up going into that game too.
yeah, they were banged up. I mean, obviously, Sterling Shepard went down. He's on IR. You know the drill with Barkley. Peppers is out, but it's not like they were winning with all these guys anyway here. So they're still a young team. I think although he hasn't really been hitting the ball out of the park since he came to the Giants, but the fact that Solder took the year off hurt that offensive line. Hey, they're going to have to jump, but they're actually playing a lot better on defense. It's when you don't score a touchdown in 2 games here, it's hard to win.
Yeah. It is, definitely is. So Hollywood, you got any other news and notes?
Just a few. Everybody knows I'm a music fan, so I feel I have to say this. The passing of legendary music Eddie Van Halen of Van Halen is no longer with us. I hate to hear that. Damn cancer got the best of him, so hopefully he's in a better place now and pain-free, but I always hate to hear that. I always loved their music, thought they were one of the great rock and roll bands of the time. So
yeah, the NFL with their Crucial Catch campaign, they've moved on from just focusing on breast cancer awareness to all of the cancer awarenesses. So
so hated to hear that. Wishes to his family and all that good stuff. So a few little news and notes. Raiders defensive tackle Maurice Hurst has been put on the COVID list, so he's in question for this week. Yeah, so not sure if he tested positive or whatever, but or however that exactly works. But he's on the list, so he may or may not play this week. The Falcons safety Damontae Casey likely done for the year. He suffered a torn ACL last night, so that's not good. 49ers defensive end, man, the 49ers just can't take anymore. But they lose Ezekiel Anza for the year. Torn bicep, which I kind of expected.
I was going to say, is it really a surprise that Ezekiel Anza would get an injury?
Yeah, but man,
that's a guy's
needed him
MO.
for the depth, though. I mean, good grief, how many more injuries can they take? But
Seattle had him last year. He played in all of like 6 games, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just he can't stay on the field, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's just injury. He truly is injury prone. I mean, we say that about players, but he's one that just cannot stay healthy at all.
Ethan's cursing at you right now.
Sorry, Ethan. And then the last one we kind of touched on it. The Texans fired head coach and GM Bill O'Brien.
Darrell's sad about that too.
I am. I thought he was doing an excellent job. I was.
Yeah.
I was his biggest fan.
Yeah. So, Mark, how did you end up starting statement games? What was the idea behind statement games, and how do people play if they want to play?
Yeah, sure. So once again, appreciate you kind of like, having me on and giving me a chance to tell a little bit about, who I am and my story. So basically, www.statementgames.com. I can't stress this enough here. It's just a game. You can access it on the website here. If you're not necessarily a web person, there are apps that complement statement games, kind of like, .com. As a company, we've created a little bit of a different twist on fantasy sports. So what we do as a company is we create games that are specific to individual sporting events. So, for example, you got the Buccaneers and the Bears coming up on Thursday night. The people who want to play statement games, I will literally present them with a list of props, or hence the company name, statements that are specific to that Bears and Bucks game. So, for example, Chicago Bears defense over or under 2.5 sacks. The Tampa Bay defense over or under 1.5 turnovers for the game. Brady over or under 265 yards passing. You go through like these list of props, and when you're playing, you have to make 10 picks. The list is anywhere between 50 to 60 props. And as you make your 10 picks, you want to rank them in order of confidence from 10 through 1. So as that football game plays out, if your number 10 pick becomes correct, you're going to get 10 points. If 9 through 1 are incorrect, well, now you just have a total of 10 points. You're going to play in a league of anywhere between 8 to 12 people, and the person with the most points from correct picks at the end of that specific sporting event wins. This is a 100%. It's free to play. You're competing for what we call statement games coins. You'll win coins by finishing in first, second, and third in any contest that you choose to play in. It's your job as a member of statement games to accumulate as many of these coins as you possibly can. And when you're ready, you want to exchange them for a cash gift card of your choice. So there's a whole reward system that powers the statement games engine. The reward system is powered by, I'd say, anywhere between 80 to 85 different merchants. Nike, Starbucks, Under Armour, Amazon, Google. Name kind of like your merchant. You want to change your coins for a cash gift card of your choice. So that hopefully gives you a better understanding of who we are and what we're doing. And ironically, this game is something that I've been playing with in my family for the past 25 years. My dad came up with the concept. Full disclosure, I'm from Long Island, New York. My dad was a big sports fan. There's me and I have a younger brother. And in the Salino household, we were literally raised to do a couple of things and a couple of things only. We rooted for the Giants, the Yankees, the Knicks, and the Rangers, and that was it. And we literally took it to like a completely different level, a completely different extreme. And that upbringing, it kind of backfired on my dad, because we used to take this trip up to Boston every single year. I had an aunt and an uncle who lived in Boston, and that's where we went for Thanksgiving. So on Thanksgiving Day, what does my dad want to do? He wants to leave him alone. He wants to watch Thanksgiving Day football, right?
That's right.
Well, my brother and I, we don't care. We want nothing to do with it. It's not a Giant game. Dad, why do we have to watch this game? We'd rather be outside throwing a football around, or jumping in pile of leaves and things like that. So in an effort to kind of get us interested in things other than the Knicks, the Rangers, the Giants, and the Yankees, he created this game. We've been playing it every single year on Thanksgiving Day. It started out where he would physically pull you over into a corner of a room, whip out a piece of paper, and he'd start asking you questions about the Lions Day football game. So I remember the first time we played, I was like, all right, Barry Sanders over under 100 yards rushing. Herman Moore over under 7.5 receptions. Bears defense over under 2.5 sacks. You went through this list, Every single family member threw in a buck. My aunt used to call this the football bingo game. But now at the age of 12 or 13 years old, we're like locked into this Thanksgiving Day Lions game like it's the Super Bowl because I had a chance to win 13 or 14 bucks. So as the game played out, we'd start calling out what would happen, and if we got our picks correct or incorrect, and the family member with the most points at the end of that game won the pot. So basically, Statement Games is something that I've turned into a digital platform as a result of kind of like playing versions of this for over 25 years within my family.
That is awesome. And I never really knew the story behind it, but that is great.
Yeah. Actually, during COVID, when everything was shut down, I noticed there was wrestling statement games, and I played some of those just to get some, because there's no fantasy football, there's no basketball, there's no hockey. It's like
me and Dan are huge wrestling fans. So.
We'll get back with wrestling. I mean, it's just so crazy right now. I mean, we just came off of the Stanley Cup. But we're running, baseball, hockey, football, and basketball. It's all at the same time. It's never like I've done before. I'm a startup, so there's only so much that you can actually do. But I think we kind of chatted a little bit about this, before we're offline here. Now, this actually backfired on me. I was doing a podcast on Friday, and it was a baseball podcast. So we're talking a little about the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. And the deal was, okay, guess what? Anyone who wants to play this Tampa Bay Rays Yankees game on statementgames.com, which is free to play, if you go 10 for 10 with your picks, in addition to any coins that you actually win that you can exchange for, rewards here, I'm personally going to come out of my pocket and pay you $250. So as it turns out here, 3 people went 10 for 10 with their picks this past. So I'm out $750. So I'm kind of like a glutton for punishment, but I'm doubling down. So I'm going to make the same offer to you guys and your audience. Anybody who's listening to this show, I'm not going to promote this on my network. I mean, you can actually find this at Statement Games on any major social media platform: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. You got to be listening to the show, take advantage of it. If you guys are willing to give this game a try, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Chicago Bears, Thursday Night Football. If you go 10 for 10 with your picks, I'm personally going to pay you $250. So
right.
Hopefully you guys kind of have a little fun with it and give me some feedback on what you like and what you don't like here. But this is only something that you'll be aware of through listening to the show and interacting with your social media accounts.
Awesome. Yeah, so Tom Brady touchdowns, Gronk receptions. Let's see. Nick Foles or Trubisky for how much playing time they're gonna have.
Yeah. Wow, there you go.
So you get that set up. I'm all in on this.
Yeah.
There you go. StatementGames.com or Google Play Store or Apple App Store. If you just search on Statement Games Fantasy Sports, we're pretty easily accessible and easy to find. Can't stress enough, it's just a game. I'm not asking for a social security number. You don't have to fund an account. There's nothing kind of crazy that we're asking for. You just need to have either a Gmail account, a Facebook account, or some type of valid email address to get into the system.
I linked to my Facebook
That's
account.
pretty much it. There you go.
Yeah, I have my Facebook account linked. That way, I don't have to remember a password. I can just.
That's the good thing. Yeah, you don't have to remember anything kind of unnecessary. You can actually even sign in with an Apple ID if you're more of an Apple person as well. So
actually, I told him before we come on, I actually played a baseball game the other night and finished first and won a bunch of points. So
all right, there you go. Look at that.
I was doing pretty good on wrestling.
You one of those 10 for 10 guys? Did you play that Yankee Tampa Bay game here? Do I owe you $250?
Not yet.
But that's it. But guys, I do got to run. I really appreciate the time here, and I'll let you get going here. We'll continue chatting over social media. If anybody wants to reach out to me and give me feedback on what we're doing, if you have any questions or anything like that, it's literally at Statement Games, Facebook or Twitter. I'll even throw out my email address here. I can be contacted at marketing@statementgames.com. It's pretty simple.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks, Mark, for coming on and take advantage of that Bucks and Bears game. I know it actually should be a decent game because both teams are pretty competitive. Whether or not the Bears fully show up or not to be determined.
Now I'm really intrigued that Mark's going to give us $250. I'm really intrigued now.
10,
so.
Yeah. There you go. All right, guys. Well, I don't know. Maybe say a little prayer for the Giants this weekend as well. We can take. We can use all the help we can get.
Hey,
you know.
You got one of my favorite players on your team, so I got to pull for him. You got Blake
That's
Martinez.
true. Darrell is all about the Blake Martinez. So
hey,
all right.
He's
that kid can play, man. He can play. He's I like his energy. He plays the position. He's definitely a very pleasant surprise. And you know what? He was playing well on Green Bay anyway. So
he was, and I'm sure right now with their injuries, they're missing him right now. So
I'm glad Lorenzo Carter's getting a chance to play some because I liked him coming out of college. So he's a good player. All right, Mark. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Have a good one. Thanks for coming on.
Props going. Thanks. So Mark Solino from Statement Games. Go check those guys out. It is fun to play. It's just a little, if you don't want to lay down any real money, or like if you're in Darrell's neck of the woods where gambling's not legal yet, you can play for free.
Yet. November 1st.
Coins aren't dollar bills, but you can earn gift cards for stuff you're going to use anyway. NFL shop, you can buy yourself a jersey.
Yeah, don't know.
There are other games.
You can buy coins, but there's also a wheel that you can spin daily to earn free coins too. So it's not like you have to put anything out of pocket. You win coins off of your games that you win and lost. Like you said, top 3, and then you can spin the wheel and earn coins too. So it's pretty fun. Yeah. Like I said, I played the baseball the other night, Yankees and Rays, and finished first. So pretty proud of that. Won a bunch of coins. So.
And if you're listening to this podcast, you're a fan of having something on the game anyway.
Yes, absolutely.
So you like to do that kind of stuff.
Gambling is your friend.
And this is really you don't have to sink any real money into it. So it's a way to gamble without actually losing any real money. So it's
like he said, you sign up for free. There's a daily thing where you can spend to get free coins, and you just click on the games and pick your top 10.
Like I said, during COVID, the wrestling
I wore it out,
keeping me insane because not saying I have a problem, but I like to indulge in that stuff. I don't indulge in the 25-ounce curls like you do on a nightly basis or daily basis, but
you'll be proud of me. I've been working out.
Working out, huh?
Yeah.
But you move up to 50-ounce curls?
No, still 25s, but I've actually been working out, doing a little cardio, a little weightlifting.
Good for you.
I figure that way it's a push.
It would be, yes. So me making fun of you for the past 6 months to get off your rear and do something has finally worked.
Your words hurt, Dan. You've hurt my feelings.
You know what? If it gets you off of the chair and working out, then I like to say it's like Cobra Kai. It's motivational.
See, that's the thing. I'd love to work out and be active like that, but for some reason I can't do it by myself. If I had somebody with me to motivate, like if you live nearby and we could go to a gym or something, I would love that. I would be there every day, but just doing it by myself, I can't. So I slack. So
it's tough by yourself. The one thing about by myself, it's my alone time. It's my
true.
Nobody is around me. Like especially now at the gym, it's pretty empty in my gym. So I go there after work and I sit on my elliptical or my treadmill or my bike or whatever I choose to do that day. And I just sit there for an hour solid and work my butt off for about an hour. And then the gym I go to, not to say that this is, a good thing. They have Netflix on the TV screens of what I'm working out on. So it gives me something to do. Like I can watch, I could sit on my butt and watch TV, or I can go to the gym and do something and watch TV.
Right.
So I might as well go to the gym and work my butt off for an hour and, lose some weight and feel better and all those pluses.
I'm not getting any younger, so I felt like I needed to do something.
You aren't. I just realized I'm turning 40 in February, so.
Welcome to the club, Jack.
I know. It's scary. Like I said, we were supposed to go. Me and my wife were supposed to go to a Seahawks game sometime this season, but with the COVID, we scrapped those plans. So, but anyway, let's get into week 5. There are some buys. Who is on a buy? Detroit and somebody else. I can't remember who the other team is.
Shoot. Let me get over here and click on it, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, because I've been doing my lineups, and I'm like,
no, I was doing
Detroit's on a buy. Detroit's on a buy. Who else is on a buy? Yahoo doesn't have the buy up here. So.
Hang on.
But anyway, while you're looking that up, we'll get into game 1. We talked about it already. You can go to statementgames.com or the app and check out the Tampa Bay Bucks are going to Chicago, the Windy City. So I'm taking Tampa. As much guff as I love to give Tom Brady about being washed up and old, and he threw another one of those pick sixes that was right to the dude.
He did.
So that was pretty bad. But
Detroit and Green Bay are the 2 teams on a bye this week.
Detroit,
so it's not too bad. But after this week, starting in week 6, you get multiple, so it starts getting a little hairy after this.
It makes a whole lot of sense now why Devontae Adams didn't play. So I'm actually okay with that. I mean, it stunk because I didn't have a pivot. Although, shout out to J Mike from the open bar. I still beat him without Devontae Adams going. It was close.
And the Packers won handedly, so they didn't really need him.
They did, they didn't really need him.
And just to say, I want to tell our buddy Peter that always listens, and I'm sure he'll know who he is. He sucks because he brought it to my attention but just before I come on the show that in a flea flicker league that me and him's in together, I traded him Robert Tonyan, I think it is, the tight end. I traded him Robert Tonyan, and I didn't even know who the guy was. I'll be honest. I didn't know who he was, and he offered me I think it was a 5th or a 7th round pick, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'll take that.
You know, but nobody had ever heard of Robert Tonyan before last night. Probably.
Scores 3
he had a touchdown. He had a touchdown week 3, I think, too. But
I'm like, this is great. I traded somebody I've never even freaking heard of for a draft pick, thinking I'm doing good, and I get burnt for 3 touchdowns. Or somebody got burnt, but still, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
it's like you got me, Peter.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, but getting back to the Bucks in Chicago, I like to see Jordan Whitehead. He's been playing pretty decent. I know we've talked a lot about Antoine Winfield on the show, but Jordan Whitehead's been a very good player for the Bucks this year.
He has, very good. Him and Antoine Winfield have just been, from those safety positions, they've been lighting it up. So,
all right. I'm going to step away for a second. Why don't you talk about Carolina visiting the Falcons and how much of a crap bowl that's going to be?
Yeah, and I've got Tampa Bay winning as well. So our next one is Carolina at Atlanta. You got to think Atlanta can win somewhere. But, man, they have been so snake-bitten with these big lead losses, and they kind of hung around last night with the Packers, and then the Packers just kind of flexed that muscle and pulled away. So, you know, you got to wonder how much longer is Dan Quinn got? You know, how short is that leash, that rope? You know, I can't imagine that if he continues to lose that he's going to finish the season. They have some good talent, you know, but for me, I just think Carolina is a better team. I know they're a little younger, a little more unproven, but their defense is doing good with the rookies, Derek Brown, Jeremy Chin at safety. He has been so good for them. Shaq Thompson's been good. And then on offense, you know, they've lost Christian McCaffrey, but really Teddy Bridgewater has performed very well for them, kept them in games. So for me, I'm taking Carolina. I just think that right now Atlanta is just so snake bitten. I mean, they're so gun shy that they're teetering right now. And I think Carolina just pushes them over the edge, is in my opinion. And I'm going to be watching Derek Brown. I want to see how he does up front, and I want to watch Jeremy Chin. Those two are just amazingly good rookies that Carolina was fortunate enough to get. And Dan can kind of catch up when he gets back. Our next game is Buffalo at Tennessee. This is so hard for me. Huge Tennessee fan. They're at home. But with all this COVID stuff, they're kind of already depleted in the secondary. Josh Allen has been playing lots out at quarterback. So I think Buffalo comes to Tennessee, gets the win. I hope I'm wrong. But you never know. I mean, it's just crazy how all this COVID has turned everything upside down. I know they're short on cornerback, so they're playing two rookies, and I think one of those got hurt. They're trying to get a Dory Jackson back. And then Buffalo's been playing really sound. McDermott has got that defense really dialed in. It's funny, Josh Norman was kind of an afterthought, and he's eligible for his first game and makes one of the hugest plays of the day for IDP. So for me, I'm going to be watching Ed Oliver, and I'm going to be watching Rashawn Evans. But I think the Bills win this one. And Dan is back, so I went over two games while you were gone. I picked Carolina to beat Atlanta, and I picked Buffalo to beat Tennessee. So
I think I'm with you there on both of those accounts. Yes, kids are wonderful, aren't they?
They are. They're treasures, Dan. And it's got to be Ethan, right?
Still awake.
Is it Ethan?
No, it's Braden, and he's.
Oh, Braden! I always get those two mixed. I love Braden. He's my hero.
Yeah, well, yeah, he might leave you alone for another hour on the podcast
Please pass that message to him. He doesn't know me, but I love him. Well, he's my buddy.
He better knock his crap off. Anyway, yeah, I got Carolina and Buffalo as well.
Don't you just think that Atlanta's just so freaking snake bitten right now with this?
Atlanta's terrible.
I know, but I mean, they got some good pieces. Ridley, Deion Jones, Julio Jones. They're
all banged up. They're all hurt. I mean,
I know, but they're just so snake bitten.
Julio's not going to play. Carolina has actually looked really good the last couple weeks.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, even without McCaffrey, they've looked great.
Oh, Mike Davis is just filled in that role. I mean, it's like he's not as dynamic, I don't think, as McCaffrey, but he's filling in nicely. I think everybody's writing off DJ Moore a little too early. I have
a ton of shares of him, and I'm trying to hang on, but he's making it rough. Let me tell you,
Chicken Little. Look, he's got Teddy Bridgewater throwing to him. I mean, come on.
True.
Wait till they get a real quarterback there. I mean, this is dynasty we're talking about. Redraft, yeah, get rid of him. He ain't gonna do anything. Meanwhile, Buffalo's on a roll. Tennessee going to be rusty.
Yeah.
I just see Buffalo. Buffalo's on a roll, and they're playing some good football. I mean, even without some pieces, they made it to 4-0. And I mean,
right. And I think Tennessee's secondary is just kind of beat up.
I mean, the rest could be good for them, but then now they got to start this 13 straight.
Yeah.
And who knows? They might still be without some players because, I mean, Jeffrey Simmons was on the COVID list. Humphreys. So some bigger names ended up on that list over the weekend. Quietly. You know, the NFL isn't advertising that stuff.
Yeah, and they kind of mentioned that I guess somebody kind of asked about Kevin Byard. Here's a little insight from local radio. They ask about him, and they're like, well, due to some injuries in the secondary with the Dory Jackson being out, with Chris Jackson, the rookie, being out a little bit, they've had to go with Christian Fulton and Chris Jackson earlier. Malcolm Butler hasn't performed, so they've had to kind of reverse the roles. Kenny Vaccaro's become that guy down in the box that does everything Swiss Army knife because Byard is better in coverage. They've kind of had to leave him in that deep center field rover position to help with the corners because they're just so depleted. So once we get back to full health, I think you'll see Byard's numbers go back up. But, yeah, I'm with you. I think with Josh Allen on fire, Buffalo takes advantage of Tennessee, and it's going to be a sad day. We're going to get our first loss. I was really hoping to go 4-0 and see Houston go 0-4 and put a big old gap on them, but hey.
Yeah, well, since you talked 20 minutes about those games, we do need to pick up the pace a little bit on the rest.
Hammer on.
Next up, we got Kansas City hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. Chiefs dominating.
Yeah, they run away with it.
The Raiders can't. They don't have any healthy receivers. It seems like, and their defense is a little banged up. I did see that Kwiatkowski did play this weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Does Carr make the whole season as the starter?
Yeah, because who? I mean, are you going to put in Nathan Peterman?
I'm just curious. Okay, I'll put it this way: is he their starter next year?
Is he their starter next year? Probably not. I've heard a lot of situations bandied about, including Sam Darnold ending up in Las Vegas.
I actually not hating that. I'm not hating that.
Actually, we talked about that on Friday night,
I think we may have, yeah.
Anyway, next up, I think we both got the Chiefs.
Yep.
I love watching Frank Clark, even though he's not in Seahawks action green anymore.
Hopefully Chris Jones is back. Like to see him.
Yeah, I didn't know he was out.
Luckily, I caught it just before.
Beforehand. Did he leave the game or was he out before the game?
No, he was inactive.
Oh, I didn't even know that. So I don't think I owned him anywhere.
Yeah, I caught it last minute and was able to get a substitution in, so worked out for me there. But, hopefully he's back. I would like to watch him, see how he does. We'll see. But whether he's back or not, they should beat the Raiders easily.
Yeah. Next up, Arizona faces the New York Jets, and this is a get-right game for Arizona. I think anybody that plays the Jets is a get-right game. They're coming off of 2 bad losses, and they have a chance to look good again. Budda Baker is going to be interesting to see if he is back, because he is not for sure back. He wants to play for sure, coming off the surgery, but precautionary measures may be in place. You're playing the Jets. Do you really need to have your best players to play the Jets?
And I don't know. I'm sure no one associated with Arizona listens to us. But if they do, or somebody knows somebody in that organization, can you ask them what the hell they're doing with Isaiah Simmons? And also, why are they not using Larry Fitzgerald? I mean, I know Fitzgerald with Hopkins and Kirk and those guys, he was going to take a bit of a backseat, but he's been a huge disappointment too this year. So I just don't know what they're doing with Simmons. I don't get it. He's playing almost as many special team plays as defensive snaps. So
Eddie used to listen to us. I'm not sure if he still does.
Who?
You know Eddie. He commissions a couple leagues.
Oh, yeah. I know who he is. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, Eddie, ask him.
the fantasy footballers have to listen to us, and they're Cardinal fans. So
yeah. I'm just puzzled by that. I don't know why you would take him that high and not utilize him. I mean, I really don't.
Maybe they're stringing. I mean, maybe they just want to bring him along slowly and, I don't know, build.
What's their record?
2-2.
He's still one of their best 11 defenders. Whether there's a learning curve or not, you got to get him on the field somewhere. I mean, Budda Baker's out. Why not put him in that spot?
I'm not disagreeing with you, but we can't have this conversation every week. Next up. So I got the Cardinals. Anybody. The Jets are my favorite team to pick against, I think, because they're just god-awful.
Shame on you.
Well, it could be the Texans now, but they're maybe not.
Yeah, let's go with the Texans. They suck.
Okay. Philadelphia goes and faces the Pittsburgh Steelers, the team that used to be the Steagles back in the World War II days, I believe it was.
Nice history. That was nice.
Yes.
Nice.
I got the Steelers. I mean, come on. The Eagles barely have any receivers. They threw to a Travis Fulgham, whoever that is.
Right.
Was their leading receiver, I think. They're just too beat up. Their offensive line's just beat up. I mean, TJ Watt is going to have a field day in that game.
Steelers just curb stomp them, don't they? I think they just beat them down.
First of all, the Steelers are pissed because they wanted to beat up on your Titans and they didn't get a chance to.
Well, they'll get their chance. They're just going to have to wait.
Eric Ebron is missing his daughter's or his son's his child's birthday party thanks to your.
You know what? You can jump Eric Ebron ahead of the Bosses on that list if you want to.
Anyways, we both got the Steelers. I think TJ Watt might get 3 sacks in this game because the Eagles' offensive line is that bad.
I'm watching Devin Bush. That's my guy.
Yeah.
So, watching him.
Rams visit the Washington football team. I mean, the Rams get to just clobber the NFC East these last 3 weeks. They're knocking them all out right now. It's great that we get to face the NFC East this year, the NFC West. We're going to just clobber them.
Beat up on cupcakes?
Pretty much. I mean, Washington didn't look – I mean, they came storming back. And Baltimore, like I said, was going to throttle them.
Right.
They did. I don't think they covered the spread, though.
Yeah. If Washington could just get something together offensively, I think they would be a lot more competitive because they got the defense. I mean, even in some of their bad games, that front line, as we all expected,
well,
they're doing pretty well.
You can't say that defense played well.
Well, not the entire game.
Lamar Jackson carved them up. Mark Andrews carved them up. He ran for like 50 yards untouched. I mean, Lamar Jackson's good and all, but you can't tout that defense after that effort. I know they're without a few guys, but still,
yeah,
they're not what they were week 1. That's for sure.
They are missing Chase Young, but even with him, I think they need more weapons offensively. So,
absolutely, they're not going anywhere until they get built. I mean, they're a building team. They're not ready to compete.
Right.
Moving on, we got. Well, I mean, you want to see. I want to see Taylor Rapp and see if he's going to get some playing time here.
And it looks like he is with Fuller being banged up. I was kind of looking at the snap counts. His snap count went back up, and surprisingly, guess what? His stats went back up. He had, I forget how many it was, but he had a number of tackles. So I started him in a couple of leagues. He rewarded me. So, yeah, I'm with you. I definitely want to see how Taylor Rapp does.
It's almost as if there's a correlation between playing time and statistics. Like if you play a lot, you're bound to get some tackles. You're bound to fall into some tackles.
Yeah, and I'm kind of working on a stock market piece that just that was one of the things I mentioned about a certain player. So if you want to know who that player is, you'll have to read it. But it was my thing. You know, he's now getting a full complement of reps during the game, 95+%, and guess what? He's producing now. So, and it's somebody that we love. So, you'll have to check that out and see who it is.
That's what we call a teaser in the business, folks. And you'll have to visit the idpguys.org in order to find that information. It's free though, but you can become a member and come chat with us.
Best thing you can do is become
a patron and then come chat with us.
Yeah.
So we got a couple more games before your big read here. You can get your paperwork ready there. I'll give you a little bit of a hint.
I'm ready.
But anyway, next up is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens. It's at Baltimore. As good as the Bengals have looked offensively, I think Baltimore's too much of a juggernaut for them.
I do too, and I'm loving what Cincinnati's got. Loving Joe Burrow there. I think he's the key piece for them offensively. Defensively, I'm watching, of course, Patrick Queen, but I also want to see Logan Wilson, and one that we've not mentioned a whole lot is Akeem Davis-Gaither. The last few weeks, he's been playing more and more reps, so I could actually see them going to Pratt in the middle, Logan Wilson, and Akeem Davis-Gaither, as their 3 linebackers. And if they can perform like that, that'd be huge for them. Of course, Jesse Bates had a big week last week. So, yeah, lots to watch for IDP there.
Yeah, and Peter mentioned him when we talked to him on his patron roster breakdown here. Cheap plug here. He mentioned Khalid Kareem, so I'm curious to kind of see him and see if he's getting some decent playing time. Former Golden Domer.
And a good little segue there, sign up and be a Patreon. That's one of the perks of being our Patreon. You can have me and Dan break down your rosters and tell you the do's and don'ts, the ads and drops and all that good stuff. And we enjoy talking football. So we've had a number of Patreons do that, and we like to help out. So
yeah, especially in season. I mean, in season's a popular time of year to try to, go for the gusto. I mean, we focus on IDP, but we can, look at other parts of the roster. I mean, I tend to win championships pretty regularly. So,
defense wins championships, Dan. That's where it starts.
Unless you're in offense-only league, and then
True.
True. Defense doesn't win you anything in those. But Stone Cold Steve Austin retained his title this week. So
nice
in an offensive-only league. And like I said, I didn't even need Devontae Adams.
Wow, look at you!
Yeah, trust me, I was looking for a solution to that problem, but I had Jamal Williams that I could have started, except to start 3 wide receivers, and my wide receiver core looks like Walter Reed Medical Center. It's an infirmary in there. I mean, I got Godwin. I got about 3 other dudes that are just hurt, and I'm like, God. Godwin, of course, being the big piece that's hurt. But having Godwin and Adams and McCaffrey all injured and still winning games is pretty miraculous.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
I built quite a team, I must say. It's an auction league. It's my only auction league that I've done well in, so I'm proud of that. Actually, the money league is an auction league too. I'm doing pretty well in that one too.
Oh, we're in the same division, I think, in that one.
I'm whooping tail. I don't know. I won big last week. I know that.
Aren't you Skinny Minnie in that?
Skinny McKinney, yeah. Apparently some kind of poker term. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in the same bracket. I mean, the same division with you. I think we're tied, actually.
Are we now?
Yeah, I think
I got lost once. I don't know.
Yeah, I got Mr. Mahomes leading the way for me.
Yeah, I'm 3-1. We got 3 good teams in that division. So,
yeah, we do.
Although I am, looks like I'm like 3rd. I'm like 4th in points. So it's a high scoring league. So it's pretty fun. Because you got crazy points being put up.
Yep. Absolutely.
So anyway, our last 1:00 game of the day is Jacksonville at Houston. And God, that looks like a.
If there was ever a way for both teams to lose, I would pray it would be this game.
They could tie.
True. I'll take a tie.
I'll take Houston though. I mean, I think Houston. Bill's gone.
Yeah.
Bob, Bill, whatever you want to call him.
The interim is Romeo Cornell, so I think they rally around him. He fires them up, and I think they win.
Romeo Cornell is a good coach, and
yeah, he is.
If anybody can rile them, I mean, Deshaun Watson's tired of losing. Let's just be frank here. He tries his damnedest to will them the victory, but there's just something deeper. I mean, since Hopkins got traded, it's been deeper than that.
Yeah.
I got Houston, though. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville wins this game. It's in Houston, though, so I'll give the slight edge to them. Both teams are terrible.
Yeah, it was a tough one, but I think Houston's kind of fired up. 0-4. They get their first win here.
Yeah. Maybe they can throw the ball to Brandon Cooks for once.
Maybe. Player I'm watching is Zach Cunningham and Joe Schobert is the 2 I want to watch.
Yeah, I want to see Josh Allen again. I seem to say that a lot probably, but I want to see he's gotten back on track for the most part.
Yeah.
But this episode of IDP Nation is sponsored by Blue Chew.
Yeah, so guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go. Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up. bluechew.com. That's like the color blue, BLUE.
And Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredient as Viagra and Cialis.
You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. Maybe you go out and you have a hot date on a Friday night and you go out to dinner. You can take it one on a full stomach so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises. If you could benefit from more confidence where it counts, Blue Chew is the fast, easy way to enhance your performance. And let's face it, when you look, as Dion says, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. Hey, Blue Chew can help you with that.
Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package.
And they're made right here in the US of A. And since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct to your door, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. There's no awkwardness, and you don't even have to leave the house. You can order it while you're sitting there watching football on the weekends, and they'll bring it right to you. So right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners, Dan. They can go visit bluechew.com and get your first shipment free. That's right, free. When you use our special promo code IDP Nation, all you got to do is pay the $5 shipping, and they'll send it right to you. Again, that's bluechew.com, BLUE chew.com. Promo code IDP Nation. Go try it for free.
Absolutely. Help out our sponsors because they help us out. So bluechew.com, go check it out. IDP Nation is that code. And back to the 4 o'clock games. We have 4 4 o'clock games. Again, NFL. My weekly plea to you, let's mix like 2 more.
Yeah.
I know bye weeks, you want to, if you have 3 in the afternoon, I get bye weeks. If you have 6 teams on a bye, I get it.
Right.
But there's no excuse. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9 early games. There's no reason to have 9 early games and only 4 afternoon games.
Yeah, that's something I've kind of always hated.
Even put the crappy Houston-Jacksonville game. I mean, Houston's practically in the middle of the country. Put that.
I kind of think they're thinking the Monday night game and the Sunday night game is part of that late group, which I kind of get in a way, but
it's not.
It's not, but I think that's kind of how they look at it,
They're standalone games. I mean, I look at Sunday afternoons. I want a good mix of football. I want a good cluster. Now, I know the football, the TV contracts, the way they work is
right.
The doubleheader teams. You're only allowed to show the doubleheader if your home team is away or some crap like that. I don't know. Whatever nonsense they make up about TV rules. Listen, we just want football. We don't care about your stupid TV rules. Put as many games on as you can at a time. We'll watch. I mean, having 2 Monday night games the other night was great, even though the one game was pathetic. At least the Kansas City Patriots game was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it was. And, I love that. I love that doubleheader Monday night with that early game. I really did.
It's a shame Cam wasn't playing in that game. It's a shame COVID kind of had to cause that to happen. But yeah, I mean, the Patriots are complaining, of course, that they have to play like 3 games in 11 days or something crazy like that.
Right. Yes, I think it is 3 games in 10 days. I think I heard.
I think it's 11.
Well, 10 or 11, and I think that's part of the reason Chris Jones was out. Well,
that's New England, not New England.
Or not New England. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it is 3 and 11.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, is Cam going to be able to make it back for that last game out of that swing? Is this going to be a real question? If he's asymptomatic, can he get the negative tests in time? So anyway, getting to the 4 o'clock games. Yeah, I don't know. These 4 o'clock games look pretty bad. I might be taking a nap because you're looking at this one: Miami at San Francisco, I think even as bad as San Francisco has looked and as beaten up as San Francisco is, I think at home they can take care of the Dolphins. Although Fitzmagic, is still alive. He's still got one more week in him.
Yeah.
I'm
He's
taking
really not played bad, though.
He hasn't. I'm taking the Niners just because I think Garoppolo should be back from what I gather.
See, I was torn on this one. If Garoppolo's back, I may change my pick, but right now I'm going to take Miami. I mean, if Philadelphia can kind of roll in there and beat them, I think Miami will bring a good.
It's better than Miami. Maybe
Are
not.
Are they really 1-2-1? Are they really? I'm just saying, if
defensively, I think Philadelphia is better than Miami.
If Flores can put together a really good game plan defensively, I think that will give them a shot. But of course, that pending on Garoppolo. Now, if Garoppolo's there, I'm going to change my pick to San Francisco. If not, then I'm going to take Miami here for the upset.
I think George Kittle can dominate again. So I think it doesn't matter. As long as George Kittle's on the team and playing, I think San Francisco can win. Miami's made some strides. I picked them to win the division. That's looking pretty foolish right now. But yeah, I got the Niners. Their defense is beat up. Their offense is beat up. I mean, they're just a beat up football team injury wise. But the Dolphins have some injury problems of their own. So
they do.
But I got the Niners. It'll be a close game, I think. I don't think it'll be a blowout. Although the percentages here, 94% of Yahoo users have picked San Francisco. So
yeah, I had to pick something because we've been agreeing pretty much. So I kind of have to pick a few to go against you. So
well, next up, Indianapolis visits the Cleveland Browns. And the Browns coming off of that pretty outstanding victory against Dallas. I mean, Dallas can't play any defense, and they just were torching stuff.
Yeah.
And by the way, I am the king of the IDP Nation Pick'em League here. I am up 45. I have a 1-game lead over Kyle Bellifuel.
I think I'm at 40, right?
You are at 40. Yes, so
yeah.
I'm
not too far behind.
So I apparently whooped some tail this past week when it comes to picks. I got 11 right this past week.
Yeah, how many did I get?
But I think Kyle and Sean had much less, so I overtook them with a good week. I had the high. I was tied for the high. I guess I won the tiebreaker because of the points in the Monday night game. You had 11 correct as well. You had 11 correct last week as well, but I already had a lead on you.
I'll take that. That's not bad. Yep.
So who are you taking in this game? You're breaking up.
Who was it?
Indy and Cleveland.
I'm taking Indy. I know Cleveland's kind of been playing sort of well. Myles Garrett, the boss man's going to win the bet. He's starting to heat up. Looks like, Odell Beckham has played really, really well for them. What a game he had last week. But I kind of go back to our one of our biggest, or not ours, but one of the biggest statements in NFL. We are who they thought they were, from Dennis Green. I think Indianapolis defense with DeForest Buckner up front, he has been a complete game changer for them. That defense has been swarming around him. So I'm going to take Indianapolis here for the win.
I'm going with Cleveland. The Cleveland's playing at home. The Cleveland defense, I mean, they let Dallas score on them, but I think they can bait Phillip Rivers into some turnovers. I mean, I think Garrett can get to there and make some noise. Even without Chubb, I think this Cleveland running game is legit. And I know they got a pretty good defense, but is Darius Leonard going to be healthy for Indianapolis? That's a big loss.
That's a concern. He only had one tackle last week, which surprised me.
Well, he left with an injury, so I mean.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, whoa, what happened here? He's only got one tackle.
Yeah. So
that's a little concerning.
That was a trade conversation that we started.
Okay.
Well, it's funny because I'm in trade talks with the Tennessee Titans in this league, so it's very fitting that I'm talking to a Titans fan here.
Give them a good deal. Whoever it is, just give them a good deal.
Yeah, I think we got a deal worked out because I have a couple guys.
Do tell. I'm listening.
Well, let's finish the games, then we'll talk about the trade.
All righty.
I think Dallas might actually get a W this week. Dallas is playing the New York Football Giants.
God, you would hope so.
So you would hope so.
You would hope so. I'm taking Dallas as well. Watching my boy Blake Martinez. Don't really care about anybody on Dallas. So.
Yeah, obviously, like Blake Martinez.
Julian Love would be another one I'd like to watch and see how they're using him. See how he does.
I kind of want to see if Dallas can stop anybody because it doesn't seem like they can.
For real.
Yeah, but Dallas, I got Dallas winning this game big. I mean, I think the Giants are, again, injuries have been really downing some of these teams that we had some higher hopes for. I mean, I didn't think the Giants were going to win the division, but I thought they'd be more competitive
than
they have been. But without Saquon Barkley, they don't really have the receivers to keep up with them. I want to see Trayvon Diggs. He's been one of my favorite corners, I think, so far. I mean, he got called for a bad penalty, I think, in the Cleveland game. That's all I saw him, really. But he's pretty good. Next up, we got Denver at the Patriots. I hope Cam plays in this game because if not, this game is going to be terrible. It's going to be like 9-6 final.
I was impressed with Ripken this week.
Yeah, but that was against the Jets.
Yeah, and apparently Locke is going to be out. I think I saw that somewhere. He possibly is going to be out again this week. So
Belichick is going to make Ripken throw into terrible decisions. So
yeah, I got New England secondary is no joke with the McCourties and Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, they're good. So
although Stonehands McCourty. Come on, the ball's thrown right to him. I mean, not saying I could pick it off.
Sometimes the easiest ones are the hardest ones to catch, Dan. So
yes, sometimes the giant beach balls are tough to catch.
Yeah, but yeah,
that would have been big in that game too. Because I mean, I know late the Honey Badger ran back a touchdown and it got out of hand, but that game was close. I mean, they didn't even score yet, I don't think.
Yeah, they kept that thing really close. And the way they schemed, it was impressive. I mean,
well, I mean, there's a blueprint. There's a blueprint for stopping the Chiefs, and the Chargers have made the blueprint, and you just have to have the players to do it is really the key. You have to have the guys back in the secondary to cover, and you have to have good pass rushers.
Yep, and I think New England has that with Winovich. Gosh, help me.
Guy played pretty good last night. I mean, Simon was coming off the edge. I mean, Jennings played some.
They've got one more guy. What is his name? Shaq Calhoun's been playing well for them.
Calhoun, yeah.
Yep. Like what they got in their secondary. Their linebackers are a little suspect, but I think New England just kind of walks all over Denver because I think Belichick will manipulate, like you said, he will manipulate them into making some bad plays, bad throws, stuff. So
yeah, I don't think Belichick cares if he has linebackers.
Yeah, I don't think he does either.
He's fine. He's fine running dime with one linebacker out there, like 90% of the game.
Right.
I mean, he's using Duggar and Phillips and those guys as basic. Was it Johnson or Jackson? They're running like DBs all over the place. They're not really worried about linebackers. So New England, again, my boy Chase Winovich until he starts cooling off. That's who I want to see.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see Bradley Chubb again or Derek Tuska on Denver.
And I want to see Kyle Duggar too.
Yeah, I mean, he got called for a bad penalty. That's the only thing I remember about him in that game that stood out. Next up, Minnesota comes to the Pacific Northwest to face the Seattle Seahawks. I got Seattle. Minnesota's looked terrible. They've played well the last 2 weeks, but they're playing bad. And I'm not saying Tennessee's bad, but Tennessee played like crap in that game.
I did.
They ran all over the Titans defense.
Yeah.
They were just lucky that Tannehill was there to bring them back from the brink of disaster.
Oh, my shit. I can't with you. See, we almost made it. We almost freaking made it. Yeah, they gave a career day to Dalvin Cook, 181 yards rushing, which I was kind of surprised. But, damn, he ran all over them.
And then they played – I mean, they put the nail in the coffin of Bill O'Brien. So, really, Minnesota's been a pain in your neck this year.
They have.
They got Bill O'Brien fired.
Damn you, Minnesota.
The Titans look terrible.
Hey, I'll take a W any way I can get it. Sure, it wasn't the prettiest thing, but I'll give you that. But
I know. I like busting your chops, but I think Russell Wilson and the deep ball is just going to –
oh, God, yeah.
Harrison Smith can't play everywhere, and we saw what happened when Harrison Smith left that game.
And really, wasn't that such bullshit on that call? I mean, come on.
It was, but that's
bullshit. This league has become so soft.
I mean, Andre Diggs was tossed for the same thing.
I know.
The one thing I argue about is the offensive player's head drops too on that play.
Right.
And I know the offensive player's defenseless or whatever they wanted to say about that, but when
you can't drop your shoulder and hit with your shoulder without dropping your head. You just can't. Now, you can avoid leading with your head. I get that. I agree with that. But some of these guys they're hitting with their shoulder and their head is going with that. When you drop your shoulder down, your head goes with it. You can't. There's no other way around it. So I think some of these are just they're bullshit calls. I'm going to say it. That's what they are.
Yeah, but
I think you have to look at is their intent is where I think you have to decipher.
You're always trying to kill your opponent. Not kill, but you're always trying to tackle your opponent, and you're trying to make them feel you.
Right, exactly. You're trying to set the tone. You're trying to make a presence. You're trying to intimidate. That's what this game is about.
It is, and the thing about and the point I was trying to make that I don't know that you understood what I was trying to say is a lot of these hits happen because the offensive players tuck their head.
Yes.
And they're half guilty too for some of these helmet-to-helmet hits. Because if you look at some of the helmet-to-helmet hits we've had this year where they're really taking a strong look at whether the defender should be targeted and thrown out, a lot of times the offensive players lowering their head too, which is what's, that they're just as guilty as the defensive player in that case. And I know they have tried to there has been a couple calls where, the offensive player gets called for leaning their head, but it's never called on the offense. You see running backs all the time lower their head and just run forward.
Yep.
It's not smart, but it's the way they've been taught since they were in Pee Wee football.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard to unlearn that. And I know they're trying to get it out of the game, trying to make it safer, but this is football at the end of the day.
Yeah, I get it. It's a violent sport. I get all that player safety. You're trying to protect them, but like you said, it's I think you have to look at the intent. Are you trying to use your head as a weapon? Because you just can't make a good tackle with your shoulder and not have your head follow. And I think some of this is incidental sometimes.
Some of it is. Some of it is a split second adjustment. Right. That's impossible. And I think when you try to replay it in slow motion, it makes it look bad. I think all of the replays of those kinds of hits should be done at regular speed because when you slow it down, it's real easy. Oh man, you see this guy, he slightly moved to the left to drive his head into the other guy's head. that's not what the guy's thinking. When you're moving that fast on a football field, I don't know how many of these guys that control New York that make these decisions. I hope they've played football before. I hope they've played safety before to realize how fast the game happens.
Well, it kind of goes back to like the quarterback slide. That's another one. I mean, some of these are legitimate penalties. Some of them are such bullcrap because you, as a defender, like a linebacker, safety, whoever, a defender, you are keyed on stopping this guy, and then all of a sudden at the last second he pulls up and slides, and maybe you've already made it in your mind you're going to make the tackle. You've already made that motion. How can you stop?
What happens when Sam Darnold fakes a slide?
See my point exactly.
It makes you look foolish. You don't want to be the guy letting up a 50-yard touchdown to Sam Darnold because you wanted to let up.
And like I said, I'm all about the safety, but I wish the NFL would, with these type of plays, the sliding, the leading with a helmet stuff, I wish they would look at the intent more than the action, because I think that's where it's at.
Yes and no. I mean, trust me, I'm a big fan.
Players trying to hurt somebody, you really can.
But I mean, Cam Chancellor is one of my favorite football players ever.
Well, Cam Chancellor will light you up like a Christmas tree.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's what I loved about him is he made you fear going across the middle, and I think.
But see, he didn't do it in a way where it was intentional. It's not like he was trying to. Maybe I'm not.
He wanted to make you feel him. He wanted to drive his shoulder through your chest. I mean, you can't say he didn't want to hurt you. He wanted to hurt you.
Yeah,
he didn't want to give you a concussion, but he wanted to hurt you.
My point exactly. He's not trying to kill you, but he wants to put the fear in you. And all it takes is that's the whole thing. It only takes one play sometimes. If you're a receiver coming across the middle and a Cam Chancellor or a Ronnie Law or somebody like that, they light your ass up the very first time, that's in your head from that point on.
Super Bowl against Denver.
Yeah. If you take that away from the defender, that's like taking a weapon away from them. That's
Cam Chancellor won that Super Bowl in the first drive.
Oh, yeah. Cam Chancellor was a beast.
I mean, they got the safety too, but Cam Chancellor lit up. I think it was Demaryius Thomas or Emmanuel Sanders. Can't remember which one. Or was it Wes Welker? It was one of those guys.
Yeah, I don't remember.
They got lit up, and they did middle of the field was never touched the rest of the game.
And see, that proves my point. They never went across the middle again. He set the tone. He set the precedent. It's not like he was trying to kill the guys, but he wanted to make an impact. You're not helping me, Dan.
But you're talking out both sides of your mouth, though, because you're saying he didn't want to hurt them, but he wanted to put the fear of God in them. Like
I think you can do that. I really do.
You can't do that unless you are trying to. I mean,
there's a difference between playing.
All right, Darrell, you've played football before.
Yeah, there's a difference between playing physical and being
pre-game. You're with your team. I mean, I've watched these documentaries with following these schools around. The players are talking about killing the other team, maybe not with a knife or a gun, but they're talking about making them bleed, making them lay on the ground, making them not get up. Like it's the football culture. I mean, it is.
It is.
It's what we love about football and what we love about defense. Is it necessarily right? I don't know. You're talking about people's safety here, but
right. I get it. I just think the NFL's kind of gone soft and geared more towards offense.
It always has been, Darrell. Have you looked at the rules over the last 20 years?
I know I'm going to take so much heat for this, and probably from you. You're probably going to tell me I'm crazy. But the Super Bowl that was not whatever between New England and the Rams, I thought that was great because the defenses played lights freaking out. I loved it.
It was a boring game, but yeah, it was a good defensive game. Let me just put it this way: if Ronnie Lott played in today's football,
he wouldn't. He'd be useless.
He would be thrown out of just about every game.
Exactly.
I'm not saying he's a dirty player.
No, he's not.
Definitely not, because he played to the letter of the law when he played, and he was, he was the predecessor to to Cam Chancellor, to Bob. Bob Sanders is a littler guy. He's probably bigger than me, but you're talking about these big hitters,
Right.
the Sean Taylors, those kinds of players.
And you done got me off on something here. So, like this hit to the helmet bullshit on a quarterback or any player. Some of these guys, they're just barely getting nicked. Oh, he hit my helmet, throw the flag. Let me puss out of this. That's exactly what it is.
Well, let me
they would kill. They would just not be any good today because they wouldn't be able to do anything.
Well, let's move on. But real quick, before we move on, I did want to point out the hypocrisy of Bill Belichick complaining about a flag being thrown on a roughing the passer play. Because if you so much as breathed on Tom Brady wrong during his time at the Patriots, you were given like an automatic ejection. So,
but don't you think Belichick was playing to the rules?
No.
I mean, you take advantage of the rules. If that's the rule, then that's what you're going to
take advantage of the fact that Tom Brady, has pictures of their refs' wives or something. I don't know.
You're just a hater. You're just a hater.
I don't know. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy that Bill Belichick would dare complain about a roughing the passer call when Tom Brady got some of the most cupcake roughing the passer calls in the history of roughing the passer calls in the past 5 years. So
I agree. I see it every week. A player, a defensive lineman end or tackle, he'll make a great play up the middle, gets there just after the ball's thrown, and maybe his elbow or maybe his hand just glances off the helmet. There's a flag. I can't stand that shit. I can't do it.
And Tom Brady takes acting classes and pretends like he's dead.
And this is my mentality. If I'm going to get that flag for just grazing his helmet with my hand or elbow,
I'm going to actually hit him.
You're damn straight. I'm going to light his ass up when I come through there.
Yeah, well, speaking of lighting up, I hope Jamal Adams plays in this game. I'd really love to see him suit up.
What's the word on him? Is it likely, doubtful, questionable? Do we know?
I haven't had time to look into anything.
I haven't either.
I will tell you that I am picking up what's his name that filled in for him. It was not actually Lano Hill that filled in for him. It was
Ryan Neal.
Ryan Neal, and he had an interception.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at picking up Ryan Neal if Jamal Adams can't go. I mean, obviously, it's a Sunday night game. Hopefully, we get some information. Seattle is at home, so you will not get the benefit of didn't travel with the team because he's at home, which kind of stinks. But I think Seattle handles Minnesota. Their secondary is going to have fits with Metcalf and Lockett. And even if you stop Metcalf and Lockett, there's still guys like David Moore and Greg Olsen and Jacob Hollister and Fitch and whoever. They have way, way, way too much. And Darrell, since I left him alone for a little bit, he's going to let me talk about my Seahawks for another 20 minutes, I guess. But yeah, they have not been pretty when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, but they've been doing enough. And I think Minnesota, with their run game, Seattle's been pretty good in the run game. Jefferson and Thielen should be starters. Definitely. You definitely want those guys in your lineups because Seattle still can't stop anybody. I still got the Seahawks. No Danielle Hunter still. No word on him. I'm worried about that situation. Hopefully he comes back at some point this season. The Monday night game, and this looks I hope Michael Thomas is back. It'll make it a little bit more interesting. And I hope Justin Herbert starts because I don't know a world where Tyrod Taylor should actually start over Justin Herbert in this century right now. So I got the Saints, and I want to see Marcus Davenport play. Hopefully he plays this weekend.
Good luck with that.
He's been on track to come back in a couple weeks now. So
yeah, I know. I keep waiting.
I mean, hopefully Janoris Jenkins plays. Hopefully Michael Thomas plays. I mean, they had so many dudes out the other day. Yeah. It was surprising that they could actually win.
Yeah, I'm with you. New Orleans wins. Kind of to touch on what you said there, I don't think Herbert loses this job. I know you're saying all the right words. Taylor's our starter, whatever, but has Herbert played so bad that he doesn't deserve to keep this job? No, he's not. He has actually played excellent.
And you know what? They're pointing to the, he didn't win the game. So if you don't win the game, I can't praise the guy.
I mean, that's such bullshit. That's bullshit.
He played well enough. And I think that's he's played better than Tyrod Taylor. I mean, yeah, you won the game that Tyrod, somehow pulled off a victory.
Right.
But it really wasn't convincing, and it really wasn't a very good game.
No,
I mean, you should have pummeled the Bengals, and he's just throwing the ball downfield better. I mean, he's throwing to undrafted free agents. It doesn't matter who he's got back there. It doesn't matter, and he's still lighting it up pretty well. So that's about it.
Hey, hang on 1 minute. Speaking of the Chargers,
yes,
we do have one listener question. Facebook user Mike Henderson. He wants to know our thoughts on Kazir White and Trayvon Diggs for the Cowboys.
I love Diggs. I've been saying that for a while. He's one of my favorite rookies coming out. Big school guy, getting a chance to play right away. Has been making some plays for Dallas. Dallas is going to get thrown on a lot because there have been shootouts pretty much every week. They've been involved. So, yeah, roll Diggs out pretty much every week until he can prove to be a shutdown guy, which I don't know that's in his repertoire. I don't think he's really going to be a shutdown guy in the league, so I think he can roll him out pretty consistently. As far as Kazir White, there's no Drew Tranquil. Kenneth Murray has not been dominant, so I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, I'm not big on White. I mean, I think I'm looking for other options. I'm with you on Trayvon Diggs. I think he's played well.
Let me put it this way. If you're looking at picking up Kazir White, then you're probably desperate to begin with. So,
yeah, now I do think Diggs is a valuable option because he's a rookie, gets picked on. Looking at some of the leagues that I was in, interesting that I saw his name today, and he was among free agents, one of the better scoring free agents you could pick up. So, I mean, he's worth the gamble. But as for White, I'm kind of avoiding him. I think you can find better options than Kazir White.
Holy stat corrections, Batman.
Oh God, what?
So here is the matchup that I had this past week. I'm just checking out my FFPC league here from last week. And you could not get any closer than this. So now he had to pivot from Devontae Adams to Julio Jones. So don't feel too bad for this guy because, he has a stack. He has a super team, and I've won the championship back-to-back years. And I think it's irritated him so badly. Because I just kind of have been, I have Kittle and Kelsey who have led me to victory, basically. And Kittle led me to victory in this game. I won by 0.7 of a point the other night.
Oh, shoot.
I didn't even check it till right now because I was looking for some replacements. But 0.7 of a point. So that's like one more extra point, one more catch. Julio Jones doing anything. He had 4 catches, but this is his lineup. He had Fitzmagic, but he made the right call. He started Fitzmagic over Drew Brees. If he started Drew Brees, he would have had less points. He started Alvin Kamara. He had Jerick McKinnon. He had Mike Evans. He has Cooper Kupp. He has Julio Jones. He has DeAndre Hopkins. He has Devontae Adams. I think this guy's problem is he has too much talent and has too many decisions to make, whereas I have a pretty straightforward, here's my starting lineup. Now I have
Right.
McCaffrey on my IR. I have Marlon Mack on my IR. So I'm an injury squad going. But yeah, I had just enough. I had Lamar Jackson. I had Devin Singletary. Manny Sanders had a pretty decent game for me. But George Kittle, I started 3 tight ends. It's tight end premium. But yeah, Kittle had the huge game. He had 50 points of my 151.85 points. So hopefully there's no stat corrections, and I keep that victory because it was pretty nice.
Stat correction would be brutal right now.
It would be.
Oh, my God.
It would be. Adam Humphries is on the IR. Did you know that?
No.
Probably COVID IR. He's on the COVID IR, I think.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm hoping to get Michael Thomas back in this league because I could use like any help. I'm so injured right now. It's ridiculous. I have Michael Thomas and he's injured. So I have a good team, but they're all injured. So I got to see if I can pick somebody up here. But Robert Tonyan's out there. I'll roll four tight ends out there.
Do it. I mean, he's been on fire.
Yeah. But let's get to this trade here. I want to hear your thoughts because I'm up in the air about it. This is a league you're in. You're in the other divisions. It doesn't really matter. So you know the scoring for Battle of the Gridiron. It's pretty high scoring.
Yep, I know it.
So
know it well.
And I'm kind of on the fence. So the one we've been talking back and forth. At first, he wanted Thielen and somebody else for a first and the second, like a wide receiver. And I'm like, I'm not giving up 2 wide receivers for a first and the third. So now we've got. So I'm a rebuilding team for the most part. He wants Adam Thielen,
right,
and Devontae Parker and Desmond King as a throw-in because Desmond King, as much as you love him, he hasn't done anything in the past 2 years.
Yeah, he's kind of disappointed here lately.
So here's what I'd be getting in return for that. And there's 2 deals on the table. So this is what the haul would be in return. Zach Moss being the centerpiece of the deal coming back to me. Cephas from Detroit. Kelvin Harmon, who's currently on IR, but has potential. Cole Kmet, tight end for Chicago, who hasn't gotten a chance, I don't think, at anything yet. Crap, I hate this league. Every other MFL league I'm in, you click on a guy's name and he just pops up in a little window. This league, you click on somebody's name and it brings you to a different thing. And he's at all 3 targets this year. So
Right.
I don't think he's really been fully unleashed. So I think there's some potential there. Quandre Diggs, the safety for Seattle, and a 5th-round pick, which we know these picks are 16-teamer.
Right.
So for Parker, I didn't really want to include Parker. So here's where it gets interesting. Same deal. I would get the same haul in return. Instead of putting Devontae Parker in, I'd put Mike Williams in.
Okay.
And he wants me to add J.J. Watt, which is the interesting piece here to the deal in order to get it done. Because I said I'd throw a pick back to him to take out Parker. Because I'd rather keep Parker than I have, in all disclosure, I have Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert, and I like that stack. I don't think I want 2 Charger wide receivers on my team. So, but J.J. Watt's had 1 good week. He's 31 years old. He's had 2 sacks and 8 tackles so far in 4 games.
Okay.
So he's had 1 good game. He's been under double digits in multiple games. So I'm basically looking at this as Adam Thielen for Zach Moss, and I think that's a pretty close actual deal.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
I mean, I think you throw in a 5th-round pick. I think that's pretty much even. Mike Williams for Cephas and Kelvin Harmon, which as much as Mike Williams and Kmet really, which as much as Mike Williams plays, which is barely ever. I mean, he has good games, but he's never dependable.
All right.
And then J.J. Watt and Desmond King kind of thrown in there.
So what is it again, the whole thing?
So I would give up Thielen, Mike Williams, J.J. Watt, Desmond King.
Okay.
I would get back Zach Moss, Cephas, Kelvin Harmon, Cole Kmet, Quandre Diggs, and a 5th-round pick.
Oh, man, that's tough.
I like Zach Moss, and I have Singletary, so I'd have both of those Buffalo backs. I just lost Eckler, so my team is probably not going anywhere.
I would ask for a little higher pick.
Ask for a higher pick. Yeah,
I think so.
I thought about that.
I mean, that's tough. I like Zach Moss too.
I like Zach Moss, and I think that's why. I mean, I want to try to cash in on Thielen because I don't think he can maintain.
I don't either. I think if you could get a 4th instead of that 5th, or even a 3rd, which is a stretch, but I think if you can get a 4th, I think you do it. I really do, because Watt's almost done, has the injury things. I'm with you on Thielen. I don't know if he can sustain what he's been doing. I really like Moss. I think if you can, I would counter with a 4th and see if he'd bite. And if he does, I'd take it. I really would. I'd take that if he could give you a 4th. Do you know where that pick would land? Like, is it an early or a late pick?
My pick is probably going to be early. Or no, I'd be getting his pick, so his pick would be pretty late. I mean, the Titans right now, I mean, they are. Let's see.
For me, I definitely ask for a 4th then. If it was an early pick, then maybe I would, I could kind of get on board with it, a 5th, but being a late round, I mean, that's a big league. That's what, 16?
16 teamer.
Yeah. You got to ask for the 4th. I think that's the deal breaker. If he doesn't want to give you the 4th, I think you hold tight because somebody will give you something better.
Yeah, and when he mentioned Watt, I was like, but then I looked at Watt's stats, and I'm like, he's not really good. I might try to just shot Watt separately. And
you got to consider the injuries with him too. So, for me, I think if you can get the 4th, that's the deal breaker.
Here's the thing: he doesn't have a 4th. The 5th is the highest pick he has left.
Then he's got to give you something else, like a 5th and a 6th.
I was thinking about asking for a young. Well, he doesn't have a 6th either. He has a 7th.
Jesus.
He's making some deals here. But yeah, I'm kind of looking over. And
what young rookies does he have?
Defense, nothing really.
I mean, even offense. I mean,
he's given me most of his, rookies, actually. I mean, I'm getting his Zach Moss, his Quentin Cephas, his.
See, you got to.
The only one I'm not getting is Tua and Eno Benjamin.
Asking for Benjamin. Asking for Benjamin. Asking for Benjamin. If he give you Benjamin, I'd jump all over that.
Yeah, I don't.
You got to maximize your return, dude. I'm not crazy about Cephas. Who'd you say the other one was?
I'm not super crazy about Cephas. I mean,
I think
Kelvin Harmon's on IR, so he has.
Yeah, I just think you're giving up a little too much. I know Watt is kind of at the end of his career with the injuries and stuff, not performing well. I know Desmond King's been down.
Yeah, Cephas looks like the last 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, I do like Moss. You got to get something else, I think. If not, you got to hold tight.
Yeah.
That's just my
now, on the flip side, the other deal I've received from a team that's trying to sell is Melvin Gordon and Cooper Kupp I'd be getting.
Okay.
For my first, I have 2 seconds and a 5th.
He's wanting all that?
For, Kupp and Gordon.
A first, a second, and 2 5ths for Gordon.
A first, 2 seconds and a 5th.
A first, 2 seconds and a 5th for Melvin Gordon and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
No, I pass. If you're not a contending team, you can't mortgage away potential future. No way.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could make the case it's not a bad offer, but
It's not. He's shooting a shot.
I mean, damn. I mean, if you're not a contender, you just can't give away your future like it. You can't. I mean, that's a little too much.
Yeah, I'm not really a contender. That's why I kind of looked at it and I'm like, could I make a push? But then I looked at my points for.
I would rather take the other offer way more than this one.
Yeah.
Because that first and 2 seconds, you can get some really good players with that.
Yeah. So it has basically, if you click on the fantasy Sharks analysis of this trade, it has Thielen and Williams as the top two, actually, and Watt as the top 3 pieces in this deal, based on their projected points, strength of schedule, I think the position ranks that they're in and stuff like that. So
I can see that.
I mean, Moss is intriguing, but I think I'm going to need another. Get rid of some of the fluff and just get another bigger piece back.
Yeah, you're going to have something there. And as far as the other one, I'm passing on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an interesting, that could put you in contention. My issue is I just lost Eckler.
Well, so. I think it would depend on how close do you feel you are to being a contender.
I'm not.
Then you don't make that deal then.
Yeah. I mean, I have pieces. I have my safeties are pretty decent.
I mean, if it was a valuable option that would literally make you a top 5 contender, then yeah, I think you go for it. But if not, I think you pass on that.
This league is pretty
it's rough.
Heavy. It's pretty top heavy. I mean, the Bills, I'm in second place in my division, but my team's not good. Pittsburgh is 5-2. Cincinnati's 4-3. I mean, the AFC South has got 3 good teams. Actually, probably 4 decent teams. The Chargers and Chiefs in the AFC West are just flooring people. So, if we look at points for, I'm in second place despite having the, 3rd highest in my division. Points for. So I got lucky in a couple weeks. Right. It is basically it. But anyway, we're pretty long. So I think we're going to do what we did.
Yeah, you just kept
and tape the Patreon another night.
Okay.
So
sounds like a plan.
So if you're a patron, get some listener questions in, get some stuff for us to chat about. If you're not a patron, join our patron program. It's a good time. Had by all.
Yeah, because we like our Patreons a lot better.
Yes, we do. But anyway, that'll be about it. Enjoy week 5. Hopefully, there's no COVID outbreaks and we get the full week 5. Go Hawks. Beat the Vikings. And that's about it. Good night now. Thank you to Statement Games and Blue Chew.
Yes.
And my fantasy league, of course. I love my fantasy league.
Yeah. Greatest site there is. And also be sure to check out Trophy Smack.
Yes.
Get you something nice for your league winner. Rings, trophies, plaques, championship belts. Those championship belts are nice.
All right. We can stop talking now. But yes, you can get something from me, the winner of the league.
Unless it's the IDP Nation 2 listener league where I am, I wanted to be nice and humble here, but let's just face the facts. I'm kicking ass there.
You'll choke. Good night. We'll shut off the StreamYard here. That might be an idea.
There you go.